life and even the death of Princess Diana, we can imagine what a voice of dissent she would have been against the current Big Brother UK police state and the long-planned current conquest in the Middle East. I mean, you have to eliminate these people. You have to. So that is the, that's the matrix part of all of this. But I think that there's a deeper part to all of this, which you'll read at cremationofcare.com. And by the way, folks, they have a great page on Diana, which has a lot of archived information all in one page so that you can get up to speed real quick on this. But, I mean, that really is what we have to look at here, is this fear-based mind control of our leaders, of our icons being killed before our eyes. And I have to think that, and Joseph, you can tell me, I have to think that a good majority of the people in England and around the world think that there was some funny business involved in this, and if they do any type of research at all and see all of the so-called coincidences that took place, they can only arrive at that conclusion. But what do the people in England think about this? What is the, I don't know if you follow the polls or if that even matters, but just being on the ground there, Joseph Skelton, what do the people in England think about this? They think it was a hit, an assassination, or an unfortunate accident?
It's probably tricky for me to say, because obviously I surround myself with people that are into this subject anyway, but most of the other people that I know that aren't sort of heavily involved with it do actually think that anyway. I mean, it's kind of, common knowledge nowadays that whenever something awful happens, this kind of event is going to be denied and to the nth degree, because obviously that's the way that things work. We have an abusive people in positions of power, and of course they're just going to lie to them, they're just going to admit what they're doing. But I like it when they questioned Prince Charles about it, and obviously his name got dragged into it, being that he was the ex-husband, and Diana had said that he was going to be involved in her untimely accident. What did they do? Just go over and ask him if he did it? I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't think he was involved personally, but if he did, he's not just going to say yes. This is the kind of ludicrous type of investigation that we've seen, Did you do it? No. There we go,
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Well, I mean, this happens a lot here in this country, and this is probably the biggest case of where it happened in your country. Give us any new revelations you have. Let's start with Henri Paul. It appears now that he was working as a double agent for multiple intelligence groups. I'm sure just kind of cashing in on his position. And there are contrary reports to the diagnostics saying that he was drunk, and that, of course, again, lending itself to this being just an unfortunate accident. But talk about any of the new revelations. Start with Henri Paul and then go forward.
Yeah, Henri's kind of a bit of a shady character, really. I mean, as I was saying before, we had the former MI6 guy, Richard Tomlinson, who was able to identify on report and having being on their payroll, you might say. Obviously, he was a guy who we don't know exactly what degree of involvement he had, other than the fact that he was the driver. We don't know if he knew the full scale of things. I assume he didn't, because obviously he died. But as far as new revelations go, I mean, we've seen things over the past sort of year or so, people saying that he wasn't actually drunk on that night. He was drunk Coca-Cola, which I know can be loaded with aspartame, but I don't think it'll get you, as this guy was supposed to be.
He was on Prozac as well, as I think some of the reports have said. What about him being kind of a Timothy McVeigh mind control? I know this is very conspiratorial for people listening to the show, but there is some evidence to point to this, that he was in some way, shape, or form a mind control victim, and the trigger was put into place that night, that fateful night on August 31st.
I mean, it'd be easy to giggle that point of view down and say that's rubbish, such things don't happen, but we know that it's tricky to say, definitively, and I know you understand that.
Yeah.
But, we can't say that you're definitely under mind control, but I suppose it's a sensible question that we have to ask. And of course, the people that would have been involved in that aren't Prince Charles, and they're not even, Mohammed al-Fayed. This is the shadow government. It's not the people that we see on the news every day.
Isn't the compelling evidence that he had undergone hypnosis and had been on some mind-altering drugs, which, of course, we include the corporate Prozac into all this? I mean, there's enough to say when you look at people like this and you see kind of where they've been going to get their treatment for their emotional problems, the types of systems that they have undergone, such as, again, hypnosis or mind-altering drugs, that I think that there can be a case there. Well, so we're just about out of time. What is the overall consensus today of the people in England? I know you read the newspapers and you're following the news, Joseph. What is the overall consensus that now, as you say, this has been not pushed under the carpet, pushed under the cement, pushed under the foundation of the entire investigation, now saying that there was nothing funny going on with the murder of Princess Diana? I mean, what are the people saying about this? Are they satisfied with it? Do they not care? They got bigger problems? What's going on?
I mean, the people that are talking about it are basically saying, you know, the result was a foregone conclusion. I mean, they did try to make that point clear. Lord Stevens did say that this investigation hasn't been to prove that it was an accident. But I think it has, and a lot of people do think that, because obviously knowing that it wasn't an accident, if we'd have just followed that train of thought, we might have thought, right, well, this investigation, it might conclude that it was a murder, but we knew it wouldn't do, because we know how these things work, and most people nowadays know that. That's really the consensus.
The 10-year anniversary of Diana's death coming up this August, and we're going to be hearing a lot more about this here in 2007 as we traditionally celebrate these milestones, such as the 10-year anniversary. You know, we just did an interview with pilots for 911truth.org, and I know your people really follow what's going on with 9/11, and what we found was communications went down. There was a lot of confusion with communications. We actually had this same thing happen with Diana, where the radios all went out. There had to have been some kind of an EMP or something. It took down all of the communications, which in a sense stopped the rescue efforts to recover Diana, revive her, and get her back into a living apparatus. But can you just spend a minute? Tell us what you know about the communications all going down, the radios all going out just as she crashed.
It's a common theme, really, because another one of the things that's been said is that for this to have been a cover-up, it would have meant that everybody would have had to have been involved, the coroners, the ambulance drivers, everybody. No, all it took was a few people in positions of power to be able to remove the security.
Yeah, and you've got Henri Paul, obviously, if that's a plan, and I believe it is. You've got, again, all the radios going down so that when you're trying to report the accident, nobody can actually respond. But as you say, Joseph, this is a common thing. Whether we're talking about the 7/7 bombings, whether we're talking about 9/11, whether we're talking about the Madrid bombings, or whether we're talking about Princess Diana, there seems to be a compartmentalization going down with a total breakdown of communications. And this is kind of a common theme that I think our listeners should always look for.
Well,
go ahead, Joseph.
About accidents, well, assassinations don't usually just happen, they're allowed to happen. That's exactly what we see in every case. Security is removed.
Cremationofcare.com. We had kind of a bad connection today, Joseph, and maybe we got about 8 months to keep covering this, and I'd like to have you back again and really do an exploratory interview on this subject. But you go to cremationofcare.com right now and go to the Diana link, and you'll see the introduction, and Joseph has a lot of information there for you, a lot of news articles that really help you put it all together for yourself. Joseph, thank you for joining us, and the best to you guys over there in the UK. Appreciate all your work.
Anytime, Jack.
Thank you so much. Cremationofcare.com. Tomorrow's program, we will be talking to John Connor of the Resistance Manifesto. I believe we'll be airing some audio of his encounter with Danny Bonaducci, one of the more famous partridges going today. And also the Arab League will be joining us. They'll be playing at the 710 Club, Red River, at 10 o'clock on Saturday night. And we'll be talking about that as well in tomorrow's program. I hope you'll all join us. Thank you very much for listening to our program today, and thank you to everybody who makes this possible. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, I'm Jack Blood saying be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid.